This afternoon from M&T Bank Arena, the Quinnipiac University men's basketball team back in action. The Bobcats closing out the 2022 calendar year as they play host to the Siena Saints in a MAC matchup. Hello again, everyone. Alongside Bill Mecca and Diane Nolan, I'm Steve Lennox. Happy to have you on board. And Di, we start with Carmen Massarello and the Saints, 7-5 overall, 1-0 in the MAC. And their big man, Jackson Stormo, now in his third year in the program, transfer from Pepperdine. He's really become consistent for the Saints.
He's a strong, tough, physical inside guy. He'll do his work early in the post. He can hit a floater. and the ball is going to go through him. He's tough on the boards as well. This guy can really put it in.
And Billy, last time out for the Bobcats, lost a little over a week ago on the road at Penn State. Ike Nowicki scored 12 in that loss against the Nittany Lions, and Ike has now scored in double figures in 5 straight for Quinnipiac.
Well, I think, Ike Nowicki, a transfer from Columbia, and his, 5th year with Quinnipiac here, has become the highlight player inside for Quinnipiac. He has become the guy. Leads them in points scored, leads them in rebounding, and if he could make his free throws, quite honestly, and he shoots it well enough, he'd be averaging 15 points a game. So he's Quinnipiac's inside threat. He's their guy.
And the Bobcats being introduced here at M&T Bank Arena. We've got a terrific crowd. The final game for Quinnipiac in 2022. Right now in the thick of conference play. And Billy, 9-2 non-conference record for Baker, done leaving the Bobcats, but 0-2 to start out in the MAC, losing at home against Niagara, losing on the road in St. Peter's earlier in December.
Well, that sets you up for a must-win game, right? I mean, you don't want to go 0-3 with that third one being at home. Got a couple of tough games coming up. So, again, I think Quinnipiac's strength with this team is their inside guys and Oceano and Nowicki.
And Bill and Di, we touched on the big men, Stormo and Nowicki, in our open, but both teams getting guards back. Louis Courtwright is back after missing the game against Penn State on the road on December 22nd. Same day, Javian McCollum didn't play in a victory against American down in Washington, D.C. 2 terrific guards.
Well, McCollum has really been on fire all season long. He is their, he's a swanky, crafty point guard, but yet he can score as well. So he's doubly dangerous out here. 17
points a game. That's a real number, right? You start messing around with a guard getting 13, 14, you're okay. You jump up at 17 a game, that kid's a rising star.
Absolutely.
And the last time the Bobcats were at home, a victory against Lafayette. And in that game, Louis Courtwright, 1 assist shy of a triple-double. Had an opportunity late for an assist to Ike Nowicki. Nowicki missed the shot, got his own miss, and had the putback. And in that game, Louis Courtwright finished with 14 points, 12 rebounds, and 9 assists.
Yeah, make no bones about it. I think Courtwright's the best guard on this court today if he's healthy. Louis, during his time at Quinnipiac, quite honestly, has had trouble staying healthy. If he's 110%, there's no one better than him.
Ed Corliss will throw it up. Paulie Otieno jumping center for Quinnipiac. Jackson Stormo jumping center for the Saints. The ball batted into the backcourt, and Desi Jones tracks it down. The Bobcats will open up on the offensive end. Jones, a handoff for Nowicki, goes right at Stormo, spins back to his left, spins back to his right, and Ike Nowicki with the first bucket of the game.
Really something you thought about coming out of the huddle at the break, out of the tap, saying, let's get Ike started on Stormo. Put some pressure on Stormo, get to their bench.
Stormo now, one dribble, giving it up for Jace Johnson. Johnson is another transfer for Carmen Massarello and the Saints. Billups getting inside. Stormo sneaks it over the rim for Siena's first points of the game. And Stormo in double figures 10 times this year for the Saints in their first 12 games.
This matchup inside is going to be fun to watch today.
Yeah, Stormo's been fun to watch, right? His third year with Siena from Pepperdine. And you've really seen the development of Stormo. I think bigs, if they're at the right place, can really develop into be dominant inside players.
Carmen Massarello, 4th year as the head coach of the Siena Saints, has had terrific success. 54 wins overall, 40-17 record in the MAC. 1-0 start in conference play, that victory against Canisius.
He's done a great job since Siena moved away from Jim Patsos, and he's won.
Nowicki missing in close in the paint area. Billups clears the rebound, and Billups, 6'4", 200-pound guard, into the front court. Billups at the top of the key. On the handoff for Javian McCollum, you see the one-on-one matchup as Quinnipiac's perhaps best defender, Ty Mushinnery, gets the assignment early on against McCollum, who works away from the ball here with a shot clock inside of 10.
Boy, yep, McCollum looks like a young Colt, doesn't he, Di?
He does, and he didn't play in the previous game against American, but he looks like he's ready today. 3
rims out. Paul Otieno grabs the rebound. Otieno coming off a game against Penn State where he had 6 points and 10 rebounds. The shot inside missing. Andrew Platek coming away with it, able to dribble out. And he gives it up for Javian McCollum. McCollum got Otieno in the air. Nice job by Otieno to recover. Inside pass Stormo with the finish on a nice feed in the paint area from Jace Johnson.
Yeah, Quinnipiac didn't close off the cut from Johnson, right? And he was able to get the ball to Stormo, who 2 years ago would have fumbled that ball.
Hey,
now he catches it hard and finishes the play.
There were 3 people around him. Catches it through traffic.
Balak at the elbow, kicks it for Noweke. Noweke on the 3, a little too strong, and Platek is there for the rebound. 1 and done for the Bobcats on that trip down the floor. Siena with the ball and a 2-point advantage. Stormo kicks it out. Good ball movement by the Saints. Johnson against Balak. Scoop shot with the left. No. Otieno grabs it and hands off for Desi Jones.
Yeah, the one thing you watch Siena play in the offensive end, they got great spacing. And they're able to go ahead and make plays and connect passes.
Making a play right there. Desi Jones for Ike Noweke, and Noweke has the first 4 points for Quinnipiac.
And he's active. He looks good out there.
Stormo and Noweke. We highlighted the 2 big men at the top, and they're off to strong starts. Playtech putting the ball on the floor. And a foul is going to be called. Ed Corliss, Nathan Hall, Mike Nardone, our 3 officials. Baker Dunleavy and the Bobcats. Baker now in his 6th season. 2 victories against Siena in the MAC tournament. Remember, his first victory in the MAC tournament, his first year as the head coach of the Bobcats. And then last year, losing the 2 games in the regular season against Siena, and then coming back and knocking off the Saints in the conference tournament in Atlantic City. Stormo gets a look on a 3, barely grazes the rim. And here's Jones in the front court.
6 years later, he's still wearing a European cut. Now on sweats and not that suit jacket we used to see.
McCollum in transition, feeding Playtech. Rejection there by Taimu Shinnery.
And Taimu's got great patience on the defensive end. You know, he times his cut, doesn't foul.
And he's so explosive, right? And I think that's the thing to be a shot blocker. You got to be quick. He uses his inside hand. And then you saw Balak here in transition. And Balak has been quiet this year in terms of his numbers and his productions. When he plays fast, he's good.
Bobcats have scored 4 in a row. Balak just 3 points in the loss here at home against Niagara. Did not score in the loss on the road against St. Peter's. Lob intended for Stormo. Great job by the safety cornerback, Paul Otieno.
Oh, I love him in the lineup for Quinnipiac.
Jones with a burst of speed. Stormo the rejection. Noweke to the floor. Noweke gets it to Desi Jones. Jones fouled, and he'll go to the line for 2 free throws. How about that play in transition for the Bobcats?
Boy, I tell you what, whatever Ike Nowicki got into his stocking at Christmas, I want a dose of that. Boy, he's playing hard.
Possible goaltend there. We'll touch on that when we come back. Media timeout. Quinnipiac on a 4-0 run, up 2.
Can they look at that?
Guess not.
Hey, my name is Chandler, and
his early start in that burst is really showing that, okay, listen, I got you. You all do your thing, but I'm going to be the inside guy. And you know what? You know, we see that J.J. Riggins isn't playing for Quinnipiac tonight. And as much as that hurts the rotation of 3, I think it gives those 2 bigs for Quinnipiac an opportunity to play more together. And non-conference, they played well together.
Desi Jones missed on his first free throw attempt and hits on a second. Quinnipiac as a team 62% from the line over their first 13 games of the season. That percentage much higher than it was early on.
It's still bad, right? I mean, it's still bad.
In comparison to the rest of the conference, one of the worst percentages from the free throw line, and you got Siena at 76% at the line. We'll see if that plays a factor late in this game. McCollum on the Bobcat logo.
I mean,
Siena in the half-court offense.
I agree. If you get an F on your first test and your second test you get a D-, you still did bad.
Michael Baird just into the game with the travel violation. Turnover Siena. And we see Savion Lewis and Louis Courtright into the game for Quinnipiac. Louis Courtright missed the last game. Bill mentioned J.J. Riggins out of the lineup for Quinnipiac. He's in his sweats.
And that corner walk. Players got to know where they are on the floor.
Which you have no problem with. I do.
Lewis getting inside, missing as he went up against McCollum. Bobcats keep the possession alive.
Boy, they close out on Balak quick, don't they?
Shinnery, shot blocked in the corner by McCollum. And now the Saints with Phillips in transition, going one-on-one against Balak. Stormo sets a screen for Bear. Billups putting the ball on the floor, getting inside and scoring. Jared Billups. averaging just under 8 points per game. And Quinnipiac by 1.
Billups is one of those guys that just does everything good. He's not a great player, but everything he does is good, and he is so helpful to his team.
But watch the way Stormo goes across the key. He'll set screens. He's a very active post player. He's not only on the block. He'll come up high. He'll roll. Sets about 3 screens per offensive set.
Yeah, if you're watching at home, keep your eye on 55. Oh!
And Otieno, 33 for Quinnipiac. Sends that one into the seats on the rejection against McCollum.
Well, we'll get a chance to take a look at this. Watch this. Really good job coming off the screen. Now, he beats Otieno here, right? Tries to fake it out. And Big Paul says, no, not here. Wow.
Michael Ely checks in for the first time for Siena. Ely, first-year player from Fort Wayne, Indiana. Everyone gave him a 10 on a dunk that he had in pregame warm-up. Everyone was wondering, can he shoot the jumper? Shoots the jumper right there and misses. And the turnover by the Saints. Here's Lewis in transition.
Best pregame dunk I've ever seen.
And he's been Rookie of the Week twice.
Oh, he had? Okay.
Shinnery inside. Bear sends it back. Michael Bear with the rejection. In transition, Ely, and there is a goaltend. It'll be on Hepalong. And Michael Ely will be credited with the basket as Blanc getting up.
Well, I don't think there was any doubt on whether that was goaltending. The first one, maybe. But clearly, all 2,800 people in the stands knew that was goaltending.
I think this is the first game we have had that we've had 2 goaltending in the first half.
Siena on a mini run, up 1. Otieno, the handoff for Blanc. Blanc thought about a 3. Good closeout by Billups, the defender. Right now it's Lewis and Courtright in the backcourt. Courtright inside for Otieno. Otieno gets a taste of his own medicine.
Well, I tell you what, both bigs. All inside guys doing a great job getting their hands on the ball. Now, that tells me that the offensive players got to do a better job, protecting the ball on the way up. The only way someone can block a shot is if you show them the ball. If you keep it tight, they're liable to commit a foul.
Tyrese Williams beats the shot clock. Tyrese Williams off the bench with his first points. Quinnipiac by 1, and Williams last time out in the loss against Penn State back on December 22nd, reaching 1,000 career points in a Quinnipiac uniform.
I'm going to date myself here, Di, and you'll know, and Steve will know. He reminds me of Tyrese Williams. Now has turned into me, Vinnie Johnson, and Michael Williams. Used to play for the Detroit Pistons, and his only job when he came in was to shoot. And that has become a role now that Williams, they've handed it to him. He's embraced it and has been productive.
And Tyrese, over the course of his career, yes, he's now a 1,000-point scorer, but it's also improved on the defensive end. So you've got that coming off the bench, as well as Bear misses from the free throw line.
Well, I think that's why he's seeing those additional minutes. We know he's a scorer, and now he's put the work in on the defensive end, so now he can stay out on the floor.
And I will say, I agree with you that he's become a good defensive player, but I don't agree that's why he's playing. The only reason he's playing is
the ball in the
because
basket.
He puts the ball in the basket.
9-9, a little over 7 minutes off the clock here in the first half. Bobcats opening up 0-2 in the MAC. We're still in December, but in terms of feeling good going into the new year, this almost becomes must-win territory for the Bobcats. Ike Nowicki showing the soft touch with the baby hook. He's got 6, Quinnipiac by 2.
It's been a really good matchup watching those two go against each other,
He's embraced it today, and his teammates are getting the ball.
Yeah, they're letting him play a little bit down there, so we get to see Stormo's going to answer. Good spin move in there.
Stormo with a little shot fake, draws the foul. Jackson Stormo is going to go to the line, and the foul is going to be on Tyrese Williams, his first.
Watch how quick Stormo moves down here in the low post. Watch him spin here. Boom. That's a quick little spin. Uses the rim to protect. And you see where he kept the ball that time if you're watching this thing? Into his chest where he's going to get fouled.
But look where he does his work. You know, it's above the block. He knows where he is on the floor and is able to give him some space as he turns to the hole.
By the way, Jackson Stormo did talk to us before the game, and He had me hook, line, and sinker for a couple of seconds because he was right in front of us, went to the other side of the floor, and he kind of said, hey, by the way, the O is silent. And I thought about it. I'm like, no, it's not. He came back. He goes, you thought about it, didn't you? Jackson Stormo, our Di and I's new favorite opposing player here in Hamden.
And you know what? 2 years ago, he wouldn't have even spoke to anybody, right? You watch the maturation of someone personally as well as what they do professionally on the court. And he's fun to watch. He's a really good player, and that's your job as a coach, right? And that's what Siena and their staff has done. They've made a player better.
Stormo out, Eduardo Lane, a transfer from San Jose State in the game. Ike Nowacki with the right-handed dunk.
On a great feed. On a feed you didn't think was going to be able to come.
And how about Ike was able to read the defense and go the opposite way?
And then dunk going the other way.
Quinnipiac by 2. Phillips kept the pivot foot, misses inside. Courtwright grabs the rebound. Courtwright on the left-handed dribble. Goes back to his left. Tries to get his man in the air, misses inside. Ball comes to Louis Courtwright as Ike Nowacki batted it right to him, and Louis Courtwright with the points, giving Quinnipiac a 4-point lead.
Yeah, Courtwright just does things other people can't do.
Today, and playing a little bit under the weather, but you're good to go.
Hey, I would not miss bringing in the new year with you all.
You could never tell by looking at Lady Di that she was under the weather.
Quinnipiac out of the timeout, applying pressure in the backcourt. Pressure is broken. Lob pass cross court by McCollum to Ely.
They're a different team when McCollum's on the court. That short break didn't last long.
Jordan Kellier on the floor out of the timeout. Where's number 14? Eduardo Lane putting the ball on the floor, giving it for McCollum. McCollum gets a defender in the air 3 times there, does not beat the clock.
He's so quick with the basketball. His first step.
Williams up top. His 3 attempt rattles in and out. And quickly McCollum in the front court on the dribble. Nowacki with a good hedge there. And he gets back on Lane. They get the ball inside for Eduardo Lane. Gives it to Ely.
A good job defensively by Quinnipiac, squaring up the defenders, not getting beat off the bounce. McCollum's good enough to get by you.
Bobcats respond. Johnson missing from long range. The rebound comes to Lane. Nowacki may have mistimed the jump there. Did have position initially.
Yeah, you're right. Long rebounds. Long shots going to get long rebounds, and it just went over Nowacki's head.
And Nowacki there with position on the inside on the 3-point attempt, and the miss by Ely.
Yeah, but in the Bobcats, 14 of the 15 points are in the paint.
Yeah,
or putbacks.
The touches inside are making a difference.
Alexis Reyes on the floor for the first time for Quinnipiac, entered at the last timeout. Courtwright giving for Williams. Midpoint of the first half. Pass whipped to Savion Lewis. Lewis, the pull-up jumper, a little too strong. Ely, the weak side rebound. Had it, lost it, got it back.
Yeah, good set that time for Quinnipiac. He just wasn't able to knock it down, and McCollum's good.
Well, how about that crossover?
Boy, a beautiful move and the finish.
That's the old school shake and bake.
Two-point game. Nowacki leading the way for Quinnipiac. He's got 8 here in the first half. He's got 10 here in the first half. Nowacki in double figures. Quinnipiac back up by 4.
Well, he looks as good as he's looked all year.
McCollum against Lewis.
He's squaring right up to the hole.
McCollum, Lewis right there with him. Now McCollum gets inside, finishes with the right hand. McCollum has 4.
But how about the spacing of the Saints? I mean, they're just so wide out on the floor, draws the defender and leaves the lane open.
Yeah, but it starts, and I agree with you. It also starts with McCollum being able to go by you that quick off the bounce, right? And that opens up a lot of opportunities, like you said, because of great spacing.
Desi Jones, Taimu Shinnery, Paul Otieno back into the game for Quinnipiac. Lewis, Courtwright, and Nowacki all go to the bench for Baker Dunleavy and the Bobcats.
McCollum had been quiet for the first 11, right? Hadn't scored. back-to-back possessions from McCollum. He's got himself 4 points.
Team's leading scorer, third in the conference. 3 attempt off the mark by Williams. Tyrese knocks it down. He's got 5. That possession kept alive with the offensive rebound from Taimu Shinnery.
Yeah, it is an old saying in hoops, right? Good shooters never miss the same shot twice. Tyrese was able to make an adjustment mentally in what he needed to do and finish the play.
He had the confidence of his teammates to get the ball back.
Well, you never have to worry about Williams having confidence in shooting it.
No, but his teammates feeding him.
Otieno against Stormo.
Make a move, Paul. Make a move.
A little short on the lefty jump hook. And here is McCollum in a 5-point Quinnipiac lead, largest lead of the game to this point for the Bobcats.
I can't fathom what Otieno is going to look like 2 years from now. You know, his personal growth.
Well, we look at Stormo's growth. It's going to be similar.
Very similar, right?
And Tyrese Williams is going to be called for the foul. With that, we've got a timeout on the floor. 7:52 to go here in the first half. Quinnipiac by 5. When we come back, we hear from Tyrese Williams on reaching 1,000 career points at Quinnipiac.
In. You know, when you come out for warm-ups, he's getting shots up. So he does his work, and what a gentleman.
Oh, no, he's raised the right way, no doubt.
Turnover, Playtech and Siena. Quinnipiac basketball up 5. I've enjoyed talking with his family members who have made the trip from Beacon, New York to Hamden on different points in his career. They've always been strong in terms of contingent, friends and family when Quinnipiac has played at Marist.
You know, I think people don't pay a lot of attention to the commitment it takes for an hour and 45-minute commute every day. Home, away, 7 days a week in order to go ahead and achieve your dreams. Good pass.
Reyes strong, and Stormo and Otieno get tangled up. Paul Otieno will be called for the foul, and that is his first.
And there were 3 times during that offensive possession where Desi Jones was able to avoid a walk. You know, his body balance, he knew he couldn't get any further to the rim. He was able to kick it out to a shooter.
You know, and that's a credit to not only, obviously, Desi, but the officials, because they all look like travelers,
Yes.
right? But they didn't make the call until it was the call.
McCollum guarded by Shinnery. We saw that early on. Then Savion Lewis got the assignment when he was on the floor. Coming up on 7 minutes to go, Stormo against Otieno, going back to his left, righty hook. Again, he sneaks it over the rim. Stormo leading the way. He's got 8.
Yeah, great footwork. Great footwork in there, and uses that left shoulder to protect himself.
Court right, Billups came over. Court right behind the play. Saints now in transition. Billups, and the foul is going to be called. Johnson running into the defender, Matt Belanc. Belanc has been quiet offensively. And is it going to be Belanc? It is going to be on Belanc. I apologize, as he went sprawling to the floor.
But how quick did McCollum bring the ball up? Did you see him? He saw the play well before it happened.
Yeah, he looked like Secretariat, where he's running on that backstretch.
McCollum high lob, Belanc to near steal, as Playtech was able to secure the basketball. Bobcats lead 3 right now. It was 5. McCollum against Shinnery, right to the paint. Gives her Stormo, jumper around the rim, and he gets it to fall. Stormo in double figures for the 11th time this season.
That two-man game is special, right? Because McCollum causes so much interest on the big that Oceano's got a double, and Stormo doesn't stand still, as Di said. He moves and is always available for an escape pass, and that escape pass always leads to a basket.
His footwork is really something to watch.
Stormo inside, missing. Ball comes to Desi Jones. Jones racing into the front court. Gives for Shinnery, now gets it back. Shinnery bumped.
That's a good call.
By the defender, Jace Johnson. Johnson will be called for the foul. Jace Johnson started at Middle Tennessee. He's from Buffalo, New York. They got him a couple of days ago. Once the travel restriction was sort of eased up in Western New York, he was able to get back with the Siena team just after the holiday. Ely checks back in. Playtech goes to the bench for the Saints.
What's happening off in Buffalo is a nightmare.
Oh,
it's a nightmare. It's a tragedy.
It certainly is. And now with conference play in the 2 Buffalo schools, everything's going on up there. It's really sad.
These once-in-a-generation storms are happening every other year.
Yeah, they've got knocked out twice with considerable storms, major storms. Collum falling to the floor, gets it for Billups. Plenty of time on the shot clock.
Collum lost his shoe.
They get it inside in the basket for Jordan Kellier, transfer from Utah. And the Saints on a run, up 1.
Early, go ahead, Steve.
Thought about the 3.
Early in the game, Quinnipiac's closeouts were under control, and they were about 2 feet away from the offensive player, which gave you an opportunity to get in the stance, and it didn't allow direct blow-bys by Siena. Closeouts are now for Quinnipiac are directly at the offensive player into their body, and a well-coached team is going to take that to the advantage and go right by you. So, again, that adjustment defensively, I don't know if it happens from fatigue, but Siena's been able to take advantage of it.
Greg Nowacki, 10 points here in the first half, 5 of 8 from the field, 2 rebounds. He's been better at the free throw line of late. Double figures now in 6 straight games. Hits on his first attempt.
Well, Di, we had him over here a couple times at Player of the Games, right? And we talked to him, and we both made a point of, you get 10 seconds, you're a good-looking guy, you're on camera.
Take your time.
5 to 6 seconds. And he looked at us and with that big smile and went, that makes sense. So he's certainly taking his time at the line, and his release is solid.
And give him more air time.
He went 6 of 8 at the line in the loss on the road against St. Peter's back on December 18th. Knocking down a pair, Quinnipiac by 1 in what has been a terrific first half for Siena and Quinnipiac, their first of 2 regular season matchups. Ely fouled by Desi Jones. And Michael Ely is going to go to the line for 3 shots.
Well, Ely has that release that just draws you to his body as the defender, and you really have to keep your balance with him. He kind of leans back, sucks you in, draws the foul.
Morgan Wooten, coach of DeMatha, Hall of Fame, maybe the best coach ever, would always say, and he only had to say it once, never block a jump shot. And because if Morgan told you something and then you made a decision that you weren't going to listen to Morgan, you didn't play. And I mean you didn't play. So you could go from starting at DeMatha, where we were number 1 in the country, by trying to block a jump shot, you were done. And then someone else would come in and play point guard. And if you had Adrian Dantley and Kenny Carr and those guys, you'd never get your job back. So the one thing I learned, listen to Morgan Wooten.
And don't block a jump shooter.
Anything he said, I listened, because I knew if I ever came out, Pete Strickland, Mike Bray, those guys were going to play, and I wasn't going to ever play again. So it was a good lesson for me.
The names that you just rattled off, when did you see any time?
I was better than I pretend to be. Right? But I played ahead of them guys.
Wow.
Yeah.
And you kept him happy, too.
I kept everybody happy.
Well, you still do.
That's my mother. That's my mama's genes.
But you learned later in life, you can't always keep everyone happy.
No.
Ely, 2 out of 3, right? At the line.
No, the life is hard, and they got to be able to go through their own stuff, and you got to be able to fail. You got to be able to pick yourself back up. Yeah, Dad learned a lot. Maybe not as a coach, but as a dad, I learned. Good move.
Nowacki missing on the jumper, and a foul underneath, as it was Kellier. Jordan Kellier on the ground. He's going to pick up the personal foul, and we've touched on the great crowd here at Quinnipiac today on this Friday afternoon. We'll take another look.
We're going to see this foul here, which, again, was something. I thought it was a really good move here by Nowacki. Good defense by Stornow. And now we're going to see what happens on we didn't get a chance to see it, but
it's on the baseline.
Block the miss. The ball comes to Zach Tekin. Tekin racing into the front court. Gives for Ely. Ely in transition with a fantastic finish.
We saw Ely in warm-ups. We talked about that in his athleticism. We saw glimpses of that in a live ball situation where he went up and under in transition ball.
Siena by 3. Courtright. Big basket as Courtright goes off glass. Quinnipiac within 1 with under 4 to go here in the first half.
That was a major league basket. I mean, that was through 2 really strong defenders.
He just does things with the ball that other players can't do. Now, again, he's got to learn to stay healthy and stay on the court.
Kellier, line drive 3 from the lefty off the mark. Courtright the rebound.
So if you had to say, and again, I know he's a better shooter than that, but is that what your shot would look like, Steve?
The result, yes.
Oh, it would look better than that.
I would have gotten a little bit, I think, underneath.
I'm
Otieno cleaning up. Count the bucket for Paul Otieno, and he'll have an opportunity for a three-point play when we come back. Quinnipiac with that basket, up 1 into the timeout.
And he jumped right when Louis released the ball, so he was there to clear it. But great analysis there, Doc.
Otieno, his first bucket of the game, to go with 6 rebounds.
But how about what Courtright does when he's on the floor? Just different things happen.
Listen, I'm a Quinnipiac fan, right? It's obvious if you listen. I appreciate good play from opponents. But Courtright does things that other people can't do. I just think he's exquisite on the offensive end with his touch and his handle.
Otieno completes the three-point play, Quinnipiac by 2. Jared Billups into the front court. McCollum has 4 points. Stormo, the team's second leading scorer in double figures with 10 here in the first half.
Boy, Taimu Shinnery off the ball is doing a world-class job defensively on McCollum.
And he's got the height advantage.
Stormo finds McCollum on the wing, shot clock at 4. At 3, McCollum hoists up the 3. Off the mark, ball batted around. Stormo had it, lost it. Foul's going to be called on Quinnipiac.
But how about the athleticism of Stormo? I mean, he came from underneath the basket, outside the block, to go get that rebound.
He's a big boy, right? And again, I mean, he's good size. What did you go, 6'7", 6'8"?
Stormo?
Yeah.
Listed 6'9", 249.
They listed me at 5'11". But let's just say he's 6'7" and a half. But he's WWE in terms of what his body looks like up top, right? So he's strong, lower body and upper body, and if he hits you, you're going to move. So he does a really good job moving his feet, always is in position, which enables him to get a lot of loose balls.
Misses the front end of the 1-1. Belanc the foul, his second. Courtright, Belanc, Shinnery, Nweke, and Otieno the 5 on the floor for Quinnipiac as we come up on 2.5 to go in the first half. Bobcats a 2-point lead. Nweke gives her Shinnery. Shinnery inside against McCollum. Taimu Shinnery with a beautiful finish. Quinnipiac up 4.
Well, he used 3 years, Shinnery, that time against McCollum, right? He used his body in the weight room and able to get him inside and finish the play.
And his hesitation to the basket.
Billups on the perimeter. They'll give him that three-point line. Misses. Belanc the rebound. Gives her Courtright. Long lob ahead for Nweke. Catches it on the end line. Here's Belanc. Belanc bounce pass baseline. Reverse layup is good for Ike Nweke. And he's got a game-high 14.
How about Belanc's feed?
I love it. I love the feed, right? And I love Nweke always being in a position where he's ready to catch. Active really wide and used the rim that time to go ahead and protect it from a block shot.
Billups created the spacing. Shinnery backed off. Billups.
Now that's a matchup we need to watch.
McCollum heading on the 3. McCollum and Shinnery are kind of smiling at one another.
Well, you know, and I think you looked at Quinnipiac's bench led by Dunleavy and the staff saying the reason he had space is because he pushed off. And you saw McCollum teasing Shinnery with, the only reason you got that is because you knocked me down.
Courtright the miss. Nweke keeps it alive.
Boy, they close out on Belanc.
Coming up on a minute to go. Courtright against Ely.
That's a foul.
Courtright misses the shot, draws the foul as he goes to the floor. Helped up by his teammates. Clock stops with 1:03 to go.
Siena foul number 3, Michael Ely, his first personal foul, G7.
They called it on the second one, I think, there, Di, as Louis Courtright at the line for 2 shots.
Quinnipiac's Louis Courtright will shoot 2.
And Taimu Shinnery right now talking with official Mike Nardone just to our left, and still talking about that play where McCollum sort of created the space for himself.
Well, Ely,
Courtright misses on the first free throw attempt.
Ely that time went under the screen, and normally the Saints defend going skinny over the top. That time he got caught behind, and Courtright took advantage.
Play tech back in for Siena. Bear goes to the bench. Quinnipiac, Jones back on the floor for the Bobcats. Quinnipiac with a lengthy portion in the last couple of minutes, going with Louis Courtwright and Matt Blanc in the backcourt. Courtwright rattles home the second free throw. So Jones and Savion Lewis both on the bench.
Yeah, you like Courtwright at the point at times, just controlling the offensive end.
McCollum hits on his second straight three. He's in double figures with 10, and it's a one-point game. Quinnipiac the lead under a minute to go.
Well, McCollum seems to accept that challenge of Shinnery, so this is going to be interesting to watch.
Yeah, you wonder when you get that little nudge as a competitor where it turns around and you put yourself in a position when you answer the call. Now, we talked about McCollum's, Quinnipiac's bench being upset with McCollum's play here. They thought he pushed off to get space. He clearly pushed off. Now, whether Shinnery did a good job acting or not remains to be seen, but that was the call that Quinnipiac was upset about as a staff, and it's also the play die that McCollum got his groove back on.
And how about when they went from offense to defense, the two of them walking the floor, laughing at each other, looking at each other, going like, okay, game on.
One of my favorite movies and lines is Stella got a groove back, right? McCollum got his groove on.
Desi Jones fouled by Billups on a three-point attempt. Billups picking up his second. And he goes to the bench with 42.3 to go here in the first half. Coming up at halftime, we highlight Quinnipiac grad student Tyrese Williams on his career at Quinnipiac, reaching 1,000 career points and growing up in his hometown of Beacon, New York.
And this game is like old school basketball. There have been 44 points in the paint between the two teams. It's not a three-point shooting game, but it's a slug out on the post.
Yeah, that's a really valid point. Not many threes, right? But it's all done inside.
Quinnipiac just 1 of 8 from behind the three-point line. That three from Tyrese Williams. Siena 2 of 9. Those 2 threes in the last few moments from McCollum.
From McCollum.
Ely against Courtwright. Ely unable to finish. Otieno grabs it. Ely went to the floor.
Look at the clock. Look at the clock. One shot.
Bobcats can hold for one. They identified it right there, and Baker Dunleavy is going to call the timeout. 20.8 to go. Quinnipiac for 3 seed Siena to advance to the semifinals for the second time in the MAC tournament under head coach Baker Dunleavy.
And Rigoni made some shots, right, for Quinnipiac.
He did.
They like Courtwright with the ball here, Di. They like to walk it down. And
Courtwright trying to use the screen by Otieno. Bounce pass inside. Otieno misses with 5 seconds to go. McCollum tracks it down, gets it to Ely with 1. Ely from half court, way off the mark as it hits the backboard. Quinnipiac had the opportunity. Bobcats will go into the locker room with a 4-point advantage, 35-31 on Siena.
Really good play there by Courtwright on a good feed. And
on the year, they are 61. And that's going to be critical in MAC play. You know, at the end, middle of this second half, there's going to be some bumping around. There's going to be free throws had.
Starting 5 to open up the second half for both schools. Javian McCollum gives it up for Jace Johnson. Siena opening up on the offensive end. Playtech averaging over 10 a game, 3rd leading scorer for Siena. He was quiet in the first half, did not score, had just 1 shot attempt. Jace Johnson against Shinnery.
And his programs, they're letting him shoot it, aren't they?
Phillips, the miss on the 3-point attempt from right in front of his own bench area. That one hit the top of the backboard and went out of bounds.
So Di, I'll ask you this question as a coach, right? Like, Quinnipiac's made a decision that we're going to let Billups be the guy that's going to take the shot. Now, as a coach of Billups, are you telling him you can't shoot that, son, or are you letting the guy take that shot?
I'm letting that guy take that shot.
Got you.
Desi Jones the miss, Johnson the rebound. And now Johnson in transition. Jones trying to come up from behind him. McCollum on the 3-point attempt. Short front iron. Blanc the rebound. 1 and done for the Saints. Jones the lob inside. Paulo Otieno. That one circled around the rim. Billups ahead for Playtech. And Playtech, the rejection by Matt Blanc. No whistle. And Jones trying to track it down right in front of us on the near sideline to our left, unable to come up with.
Boy, those are the plays that you need to have to make winning plays. You get Blanc with an unbelievable block shot. You got Jones who just dribbles it off his foot. Those are game changers. That's a difference maker. You've got to come down and carry that play through and get some momentum. What a play by Matt Blanc.
And Desi Jones knew what he wanted to do, just didn't have control of the ball.
You got to have control of the ball on a dribble. Again, Desi didn't try to do it. Physical mistakes happen. I get it. But those plays carry momentum.
Phillips, Nowicki giving him a little room. Phillips, the turnover in transition. Ike Nowicki with the finish as he goes to the baseline. Nowicki with a bucket. Great feed in transition by Desi Jones.
It looked like Nowicki, but it was Shinnery, Steve. He made the same type of long length move, and Shinnery finished that play down there. Now, what's happened before, Billups won't take that shot, and because he didn't take the shot, Desi got a steal.
Jones for Blanc. Blanc putting the ball on the floor. Comes to the jump stop. Jones trying to use the screen. Gets the space, launches the three, and knocks it down.
And maybe got hit. He might have got touched.
I thought he did. The way his head moved. That was a statement basket.
Desi Jones, his first made field goal, his first three-point attempt of the game. He's got 7. He went 4 of 5 from the line in the first half, and remember, he was fouled on a three-point attempt.
They're not playing Billups.
They're content to let him dribble out there and even take the shot from 15 to 17. Playtech gets it to fall. Andrew Playtech with his first points of the game. Again, he's their third leading scorer at just about 11 a game.
I think if they figure if Playtech and Billups are going to be the ones to beat you tonight, then Quinnipiac will be okay. What a move.
And the foul is going to be called on Desi Jones. We'll go the other way as Jones picks up his second.
Better get him on a push-off?
Yes. Wrap around.
Blanc and Jones, 2 fouls apiece for Quinnipiac. Phillips has 2, Johnson has 2, and Kellier off the bench with 2 for Siena.
I think the officiating crew's been outstanding on a really hard-played physical game. They've been great.
Well, you can see both coaches are not
paying no attention to the officials.
No, exactly.
Johnson up top. Johnson going inside against Otieno. Stormo came away with it. His shot, no. Shinnery is there.
If you're here live, you'll get to see why Stormo got free. He used that left shoulder and cleared out Otieno by about 3 feet.
He's tough under there. You know, he's physical, he's tough, strong.
Ike Nowicki draws the foul. It's called on Jace Johnson.
You watch you watch Nowicki here on this post-up, and, you know, you spend time, I spend a lot of time talking to Tom Pecor and the staff at Quinnipiac, and they're trying to get Nowicki to post up closer to the basket. He's comfortable posting up from 6-7 feet, which takes a lot more work to get down low to score. Stormo posts up 3.5 feet from the basket, makes quick moves and gets it inside. Nowicki has to put effort into his post-up moves because they're away from the basket. Now, fortunately, he's a really good dribbler and he can handle it, and he's successful.
Substitution number 20, Killian Gribben. And number 3,
Killian Gribben, 6'10", first-year forward from Letterkenny, Ireland, into the game for Siena. He did not play in the first half.
They're going to go big then. They're going to counter what Dunleavy and Quinnipiac are doing with the 2 bigs for Quinnipiac and going 2 bigs for Siena.
Michael Ely also checks in. Empty trip at the line for Nowicki. Bobcats by 5. 3.5 off the clock here in the second half. Phillips gets inside. Low block now guarded by Jones. Playtech. They work the ball around. And here's Gribben out on the perimeter. Ely against Shinnery. Ely missing. Ball comes to the floor. Nowicki.
And Nowicki's playing a one-man zone inside. He's really not guarding anybody, just playing an area.
On the bounce pass, Jones for Nowicki. Sneaks in.
from his hip. Nowicki scores.
And a technical foul has been called.
They called a technical foul on Quinnipiac's bench, Baker Dunleavy, because he wanted an N1 and trying to control the coaches. Been quiet, Di, as you said. They got him.
Quinnipiac by 7. We've got a timeout. 15:50 to go in regulation.
Technical foul, wants to control the benches. And listen, there's some parents out there that if you have an 11 o'clock curfew and you get home at 11:05, you're done. So we have a strict official, made the call. That's you, Steve?
I raised my hand like they would on a personal foul.
Oh, okay. I was one that...
Ed Corliss called the technical foul on Baker Dunleavy. He was right in front of us.
Yeah, I just don't... I think it's a really good basketball official, and I think he has a golden rule, don't show me up. And he felt he was being showed up.
Okay.
And I think that's what it turns out to be. Like, you can talk to me during a timeout, we'll talk. But don't raise your voice, don't get up and down. Now, whether you agree or not, that's just how he refs.
Play tech the miss, the rebound for Paulo Tieno.
And he's been consistent with that.
Throughout his whole career, right? So you know the scouting report when he does the game. So, again.
They've
done a good job.
Stormo lost it. Ball ends up in the hands of Playtech.
And that's one of the negatives about posting 10 feet from the basket. An opportunity for a big to maybe turn it over.
Playtech, quick release. Barely grazes the rim. Ely comes away with it, keeps the possession alive. Playtech hits that three-pointer, his first of the game.
You know, I watched the American game, Siena against American, and that's when Siena was able to close the gap and win the game, their second shots.
Kickouts, yeah, it's a dangerous play. I think it's the most dangerous play in all of basketball, pro or college. The kick out three off of an offensive rebound.
Nowicki to the line. Stormo picks up the personal foul. Stormo, his first of the game. Johnson has 3 for Siena. And I touched on it in the first half as we take a look at the replay here. There was groaning on that call, on the foul from Stormo. Siena with a fan bus. They traveled from the Albany, New York area down here. They have a strong contingent of fans behind the Siena bench area. And you heard them right there with the reaction on the foul call. And Nowicki has now missed 3 in a row from the line here in the second half. Louis Courtright, Tyrese Williams into the game for Quinnipiac. Shinnery and Otieno will take a rest.
You know, you get up into that Albany area, Siena's the only game in town. No professional sports, so they fall in love with Siena basketball. And, you know, they get 7,000 each home game, and they travel well.
No more Albany Patroons.
No more Patroons.
And the old CBA. They used to draw terrific crowds, and they had great support for that program.
Phil Jackson was once the coach there.
George Carl, too, I believe.
Yeah, good pedigree up there for sure.
Zek Tekin in the game, and Ike Nowicki is going to be called for the foul. Had the near steal.
Well, it seems like the officials now are going to just call this game a little closer. You know, the post play right now.
Right.
You know, fatigue setting in a little bit.
And you do the extra. They don't mind the initial push, I think, right? Nowicki was in great shape. And then when he continued to go after it, they're like, okay, no, we're not going to allow you to do that.
Check in inside, count the bucket for Michael Ely, and he has a chance to tie this game up at the free throw line.
Well, dribble penetration here by Eli was able to turn a corner in there. A nice little pocket feed. And one, I think if you're a defensive player for Quinnipiac and Williams, you're not doing anything to stop that ball from going in. And one of the things I used to teach and learn real early, if you can't make them miss the shot, let them score the 2 points. Like if you're going to foul so the ball doesn't go in the basket. But if you're going to just touch, I'd rather you just let them score.
Get back, you know, run some transition offense.
Okay, I made a mistake, let me go on. But you can't compound it and make it an N1.
You've got Tekin on the floor in the backcourt. You've got Gribben, the 6'10" first-year player, also on the floor. Ely on the bench. Stormo and Playtech are the 2 starters in the game right now for Carmen Massarello.
Woo! Man, that dude does things that you're just not supposed to do. Smooth inside with the quick 180 reverse spin.
And how about the way he just freezes the defense?
Oh, he freezes the announcer because you're like, what is he going to do?
Stormo, the finish. He's got 14, and Nowacki right there, to your point just a moment ago, knew he had 2 fouls, didn't want to pick up the third, let him sort of have that opening to the basket, kept his hands high in the air. Lewis in the game, keeps the dribble against Tekken. Lewis gets inside. Savion Lewis with his first points of the game.
That's what he's really good at. I mean, he can control the bounce. And, you know, it's again, Savion Lewis was going to have a Hall of Fame career at Quinnipiac, and then he suffered so many nagging orthopedic injuries that he's still only playing now at, what, 75% of when we saw the best of Savion?
Remember when he went down with the Achilles down at Manhattan?
Yep.
A little over a year ago, Louis Courtright. No, Nowacki, the offensive rebound, and the putback.
And the beauty of that play was it really didn't matter. Oh, they're getting down there quick. Oh, no.
And there is Ely. He's got the dunk and points towards Courtright and Williams.
And it taps his head, which should be a technical foul for taunting.
49-49. Courtright against Stormo, keeps the dribble. Baseline, Nowacki gets inside. Ike Nowacki with the bucket. He's got 21. That's a season high for Ike Nowacki. He went for 20 or more 3 times a year ago in his final season at Columbia.
That's 23 years versus 18 years. It's a mismatch.
Now Stormo.
Would you double that guy? Would you double Stormo or not?
Yes.
Depending, especially with this lineup, McCullum not in the game. Although I might have lost my chance now, but
Siena substitution number 2, Jamie.
This one here, it really didn't make a bit of difference whether Courtright made that shot or not, because Courtright knew when he came off of that screen,
Nowacki was right
once
there.
he had Stormo, that Nowacki was going to go ahead and clean it up. So the good news is when Courtright shot it, he shot it with enough force that the ball was going to come off Nowacki's side.
Phillips back in the game. The floater is good for Javian McCollum.
How about his release?
Ouch.
I mean, it is so soft.
That was funny. Mo Dye and I looked at each other after he made the move and the ball went in. Like, huh?
Ely helping create that steal. Siena the ball can take the lead right here.
It was that look that my doctors gave me the last couple days when I told them I've been on nasal spray for 30 years. It was like, huh?
McCollum with the bucket. He's got 16, just below his average. Saints by 2.
We came out of nowhere. That's a quiet 16. Boy, he can play.
The lob, Stormo with the deflection. Johnson in the game. The lob for Ely could not connect. Courtright in transition, bumped initially. And the dish for Belanca, off Belanca as it went in and out of his hands. And with that, we've got a timeout.
Timeout on the floor with 11 minutes and 11 seconds.
Siena by 2. 11 to go. And I'm not embellishing there. It's negative degree, negative temperature. Both get to our room, say goodnight, see you tomorrow. We'll go to shoot around. Teams play in the early afternoon on New Year's Day. I get to my hotel room. What did I do? The answer is I left something in my car and had to go back and get it. -9.
Okay.
You've known me long enough that was going to be
Yeah, that was going to be the answer, right.
It was either the phone or the charger.
I think you should have embellished it.
No,
I would have added frostbite. I mean,
Ely misses. Shinnery on the baseline. Ends up out of bounds. It will be Siena basketball.
Look, good teams don't make plays like that. You have got to clear that rebound. There's 2 people there. You can't be careless on a missed shot, Di. You've got to come up with the ball. And I still go back to the turnover that Desi had. You cannot, if you want to win a championship, let those plays happen because they compound it when a team makes a shot.
And Jordan Kelly right there knocking down the three-pointer. The lead up to 5 for Siena.
Little things make big things happen. You got to do the little things you can control well.
And for 40 minutes, Belanca looking for the answer, unable to hit. Belanca just 2 points. That's his 3rd shot attempt in single digits and did not score against St. Peter's. He has not gone for double figures in any of the 3 games so far against conference opponents in the MAC.
And Shinnery's back defending McCullough.
He dancing down. No, can't go in.
Shinnery, the defense. Otieno had it, lost it to Johnson.
Shot clock.
Mike Nardone calling and stopping the clock with the whistle. 9:57 to go. Mike Nardone and Ed Corliss coming together for a moment.
And that's another play where Quinnipiac forces a miss, really guarded McCullum really well. You have the rebound. You just get out-muscled and they take the ball away from you. So that's last 2 times down, Quinnipiac's given Siena an extra opportunity to score.
Playtech, all 8 of his points here in the second half, guarded by Belanc on the perimeter. Playtech putting the ball on the floor. Got in the paint and able to finish. He's right at his season average. He's got 10.
Well, Siena's playing, I think, coming out of the halftime with more purpose. They are dialed in, tuned in, and the little things that they let happen first half, they're not second half.
Then they made some adjustments. They're double teaming a little bit, and they're fine now. If you're not going to play Playtech and these other guys, they're just going to take you in the lane and play one-on-one.
Taimu Shinnery knocking down a huge 3 for Quinnipiac. The deficit 4. Coming up on 9 minutes to go.
Well-needed 3 by Shinnery.
Shinnery is going to be called for the foul against Jace Johnson, who will go to the line for 2. And Johnson, a couple of his teammates coming over to check on him for a moment. All 4 teammates now over there, and Johnson hands on knees. Just taking a moment here, and now, sure, maybe his left knee, and he's grimacing right now.
Think he's going out of the game?
They're lining up for free throws, and Jace Johnson, who was recruited to play football at Wagner on Staten Island out of Buffalo, New York. So substitution here. And Baker Dunleavy, Quinnipiac bench, they'll have the opportunity to call for the substitution here for the free throws. And it looks like Jordan Kellier is going to take the free throws here. The player going out of the game with free throw attempts, it is the opposing team who can call for it. Bradley Jacks was actually going to the stat numbers, Otieno to the bench. And it is Kellier at the line. And he misses on the first, 7 of 11 at the line on the season entering today's game against the Bobcats.
I mean, he's got a good release, he's just flat. I talk all the time about shooting. 3 balls fit through that rim at the same time. But you got to get the ball up in the air in order to do that. So I want to try to shoot it at 75, 80 degrees.
Get it at its height.
And get it as high as you possibly can.
I always say, pretend you're raising your hand in class.
Exactly.
Get it up.
Well, kids don't raise their hands anymore. So that's why there's no good shooters. They'd rather have someone else answer the question.
Courtwright running the point. Jones and Lewis on the bench for Quinnipiac. Courtwright working against Billups, the defender. Got it inside for Shinnery, a little too strong. And Courtwright running into Billups. Billups went to the floor. Billups has a smile on his face as he got engaged in a brief conversation with Ed Corliss, one of our 3 officials.
At this level, which is a high level of basketball, you got to catch that ball. Now, you might not catch it and be clean with it, but you got to catch it.
Playtech, high off glass, no. Stormo had it, lost it, and Nweke comes away with it. 8.5 to go, Siena by 5.
You got to get a basket here for Quinnipiac. They kind of slowed down on the offensive end.
Tyrese Williams
Boom.
knocks down the 3. Billy asked for it. Tyrese Williams provides the trifecta.
He's got no the thing with a shooter is you can't worry about the consequences of your shot. And clearly Williams is in his zone where he don't care about the result. I'm going to give you a good attempt, and I have confidence in my belief.
Well, he knows that's his job.
Damn.
Column on the pull-up.
That's clean. That's clean and tight. You come off a screen like that, elevate straight up, that's clean. That's good.
And it's quick.
And you know what? You're right, Di. It was quick. So they've led this Siena run by turning the ball over, giving Siena extra opportunities.
Desi Jones back on the floor for Quinnipiac. Jones, Williams, Belanc, Shinnery, and Ike Nweke, the 5 on the floor for the Bobcats. Nweke, game high 21, his first game in the Quinnipiac uniform with 20 or more.
A timeout there by Siena was a change defenses. They're in 1-3-1. How does Quinnipiac adjust to the change in defense?
And the foul is going to be called on Billups as they got the trap in the corner on Matt Belang. And Jared Billups picking up the foul. With that, timeout on the floor. Billups picking up his third.
There's a media timeout on the floor with 7 minutes and 44 seconds.
And avoid an 0-3 start with the ball down 4 die. How do they respond now? After they went with the 1-3-1, it looks like they're man-to-man coming out of this timeout.
Yeah, that was Coach Collins' worst nightmare. He specifically called a timeout because he wanted a turnover, and he thought the 1-3-1 would get it for him, and then you get the whistle on a push. Now he's got to go back to man.
Desi Jones knocks down the three-pointer again. Jones thought he was hit on the three-point attempt. Jones knocking down the three, and it's a one-point game.
Well, how about the way he stays in the shooting pocket? He didn't drift.
No, I think he's going to ask us for some travel dates for McCollum to come with him on the road and guard him, because McCollum has been in his pocket 2 times, and Desi Jones has been able to go ahead and knock down 2 threes.
Billups answers at the other end. The lead 3. Jones inside, count the bucket. Mr. Jones going to the line, trying to complete the old-fashioned three-point play.
I just think he's so good when he dances with the basketball. He is so good one-on-one. Watch this quick turnover. He keeps it low, behind his back, and he's so clever inside and strong. I love the matchup because he's quick. I love the strength in his body. And if McCollum and him now turn into let's go after each other, I think it would be fun to watch.
Well, you hit it where you said he keeps the ball low, and that's what makes him so hard to guard. Nobody wants to bend that deep.
No one wants to bend down anymore on the defensive end. You're right.
Tie game, 63-63, now under 7 to go in regulation. Ely in the front court. Ely gives for McCollum.
Yeah, good switch there. Tough to switch that. Oh, no, you got to let that go, Ed.
Foul is going to be called on Ike Nowacki. Nowacki picks up his third.
Well, officials have a tendency to get it tighter in the end, so you got to adjust your play a little bit.
Yeah,
don't shift your hips.
That's
Don't
fair.
What was done first half, second half tightens up.
That's fine. And Wiki had no business being anywhere near McCollum. You want to grab your guard when he's coming over that screen and throw him through the screen so he's in position to guard.
Ely gets Jones in the air, 1 dribble, 3-point attempt, too strong. Shinnery will track it down.
I think it's the one that if you're Quinnipiac, you don't mind him taking that shot.
Court right against Billups. Otieno sets the screen.
Should have something inside now.
Otieno will come up from the low block. Slip through the screen. Now court right with the shot clock at 10. Court right feeds the corner. Jones, little hesitation. Jumper, Desi Jones is feeling it, folks. He's got 15. Quinnipiac by 2.
Flying through the air with the greatest of ease. Desi Jones tickles the twine. Wow.
How about the good decisions? That whole offensive set.
He gets in a rhythm on the offensive end where good things happen time after time. You got to enjoy it when it's going on.
Whistle, travel violation, turnover, McCollum. Quinnipiac ball up 2.
All right, big possession here, Di, right? You're up 2. You came back from down 7. You got yourself up 2. What you going to do here, Coach?
Put it in Cartwright's hands.
You like Cartwright with it, right?
I do.
I think Desi Jones is on a roll. I want Desi to finish this play.
Jones, the floater, too strong. Rebound for Kellier.
Oh, Desi. Almost.
It might have been only a couple of seconds, but made McCollum work on the defensive end.
No, I like it. Tire him out a little bit. Desi right now is on a roll, has McCollum's number. And you know how that changes. It's like a boxing match, right? All of a sudden you find a weakness and you attack.
Ely shot, rims out. Otieno, the rebound, gives her court right.
Good run by Shinnery. Good no pass.
Initially. And then on the pass attempt, Billups the kick ball. 5:08 to go, 27 to shoot for Quinnipiac.
You got a 2-point lead. You got now your second chance. You got to get it to 4. Yes. You got to capitalize here.
Williams comes to get it from Otieno. Tyrese elevates on the three. It rims out, but a foul is called on Ely. And Tyrese Williams will go to the line for 3 free throws. It's the third time, I believe, in this game. Jones, and one time for Siena in the first half, and now Tyrese Williams.
Coach Collins trying to talk to.
Don't foul the jump shooter.
They didn't get it. They got it on the.
Okay.
They didn't get it on the shot. They
Bump
got
on
it on
the
him
screen.
blowing the screen up.
15 foul on Siena. Quinnipiac was 6. 1-on-1 situation for the Saints on the next Quinnipiac foul. Jones, the lob for Otieno. Good defense by Billups. Jones denied by Stormo. Ely goes to the floor, and a foul is going to be called on Desi Jones. Both players going for the ball. Ely helped up by his teammates. The same for Jones and Quinnipiac. And Desi Jones picking up the foul. That's his third. Jones and Nowacki, 3 apiece for Quinnipiac.
I thought Jones almost was able to tie that ball up.
Well, I think Jones, one of the things you don't want your point guard to do is throw a helium pass, right? And as he came off of that screen, he threw a lob inside to try to get Otieno to catch it. Siena was able to collapse on it because the ball was floating through the air. Jones keeps playing, gets the ball back, but on that play, Jones got to come back with it and dribble it back out because Stormo was right on top of him and was able to block the shot. So
Michael Ely, 6'4" guard, first year out of Fort Wayne, Indiana, hitting on the free throw. Took notice of Ely with a highlight reel dunk, and we all gave him a 10 in pregame warmups. He's got a dunk in this game coming earlier in the second half. He goes 2 of 2 from the line. Game tied at 65, under 5 remaining. Nowacki on the bench with 3. Jones on the floor with 3 for Quinnipiac. Shinnery against Ely. Kicks it to the wing. Courtright on the 3. That one hits the backboard. And quickly, Siena in transition. Here's McCollum going inside. McCollum with a beautiful finish. Saints by 2.
How about when he pulls it down behind his back and then scoops it around?
capital OMG there from McCullough.
Courtright looking to answer, reverse layup, no ball batted around. Otieno came away with it. Williams gets it to Jones. Otieno putting the ball on the floor against Stormo. Inside, Paul Otieno with the bucket. 67-67, under 4 to go.
That was a big play.
What a treat. This is one heck of a basketball game. What a treat.
McCollum in the front court has hit the 20-point mark for the 7th time this season. His career-high 27 against Canisius in early December. Kellier misses. Stormo on the weak side with Shinnery. Platek gets a look at a 3, and he knocks it down. Andrew Platek has been dynamite here in the second half. All 13 of his points here in the second half of play.
Another offensive rebound, kick out 3.
But credit Stormo. I mean, he had people
strong.
draped around his arms and was able to feed it.
He looked like the Statue of Liberty out there, just all concrete, holding on to it and throwing it out.
Courtright the miss. Falls to the floor right at the feet of official Mike Nardone. Louis Courtright free throws when we come back. Siena by 3 with 3:15 to go.
Siena foul number 55, Jackson Stormo, his second personal foul.
Hey, my name is Chandler.
I used to tell my team down 3 with 3 to go, hey, listen, quite honestly, because your job as a coach is you got to give your team confidence. You got to give them encouragement. And I used to sit over there and say, listen, we got them right where we want. 3-point game at home. We're in perfect shape, man. You make your 2 free throws, we defend, get the ball, and this is what we live for.
Stopping the score.
I want everybody to come back and watch you play. Let's go.
Courtright knocks down the first free throw. He's got 8 off the bench. Jones, Williams, Courtright, Blanc in the game for Quinnipiac. And Ike Nowacki also in. 2 of 2 from the line for Louis Courtright. 1-point game.
Now, I used to always find out that my teams responded better when I had better players. So that was helpful. Dye always had that. You don't make 8 Hall of Fames unless you have really good players.
Absolutely, and then there's one here, coaching the women. Trish Fabry.
Your favorite.
Platek with the bucket. He's got 15 points, all 15 in the second half.
Trish was a teacher's pet.
Tyrese Williams loses it. Turnover Quinnipiac. 10th turnover for Quinnipiac. 9 of the 10 in the second half. Saints the ball in a 3-point lead.
And there's no reason to turn the ball over on that play, right? It happens, and I'm okay with it. But you can run your offense because Siena isn't going to be aggressive. They don't want to put you on the foul line.
McCollum against Williams. Keeping the dribble, uses a screen, Stormo. Nowacki recovers. McCollum gets a look on a three and knocks it down. He's got 23. The Saints lead up to 6 with under 2.5 to go.
Desi Jones has got to come from the weak side there. So you get in a two-man game with Stormo and McCollum. You get a mismatch. You got to have the weak side guard show up so he can go ahead and contest that shot.
Ballant's three rims out. Ely comes away with it.
Hey, no panic here on the defensive end. You're still in pretty good shape.
And Carmen Massarello is going to call a timeout.
He made a lot of mistakes. I don't know what his line looks like for turnovers, but that dude is special.
2 turnovers. You can certainly live with that number.
You think?
They put the ball in the hands of McCollum here out of the timeout. Under 2 to go.
That's a walk. That's a walk.
Had it on his hip. No call. Playtech inside. Gets it to fall. The lead is up to 8. They missed that one.
Playtech looks like one of the dudes that plays in the Sunday Church League. And you're like, the guy's not that good. And you're like, wait a minute, he just got 28 points against you.
Courtright lost it. Out of bounds off Quinnipiac. 1:38 to go. McCollum had the ball on his hip. Moved both feet. And Playtech ended up with the basket.
A chance here now, and again, you see it here. That's a walk.
Oh, that's a walk.
It's okay. They missed the call, but it's a walk. Like you can't. That's a walk too. All right, I got to quit ref in here. Playtech's had a career half. You make a decision. Don't foul now. You got to play it through now. Don't foul.
10 on the shot clock. McCollum.
Don't foul. Don't foul.
And the foul is going to be on Nowacki, who came out on McCollum. 1-on-1 situation coming up for JV and McCollum.
Yeah, that's just a play that your team cannot commit a foul. You make a decision, and I'm going to play defense for 30 seconds to get the ball back, right? You can't take the shot clock down 24 seconds and then put yourself in a position to allow official to make that call. All right, you got to hope your free throw defense is strong. You got to get a couple misses here. Well, one miss in particular. The front end of a 1-on-1.
The miss, the ball batted out, and it will be Quinnipiac basketball.
That's step one.
Perfect offense here. Ball's got to be in Desi Jones' hands. You got 3 perimeter shooters here, and I wouldn't be afraid to get it inside as well. Get a 3-point play. A lot of time, a lot of game.
Jones gives it for Williams. Tyrese Williams hits on the three-pointer. It's a 5-point game with 1:03 to go. Quinnipiac calling the timeout immediately.
The two-man game is just so strong.
Jordan Kellier is going to inbound here. Or is it Stormo? Stormo is underneath the basket. And
everybody is.
Everyone's under the basket.
They're running the 4 horsemen. I'd foul Stormo. You got to foul here. Got to foul. Foul
Williams
Tyrese.
does not foul. Playtech, under a minute to go. Back to McCollum.
Okay, you can't foul now, right, Di?
No.
Under 15 on the shot clock. McCollum.
Boy, you need to stop now, don't you? Look at him playing a 2-man game.
Nowacki came out. McCollum. Cross court. Kellier getting inside. Finishes with 36.1. Kellier with a great finish there. The lead is back to 7.
They spread the court a little late on the closeout.
Courtright.
Oh! No! Oh, no! Louis! Ouch!
5-point game. Need a foul here. Nowacki trying to tie up McCollum. And Nowacki, that's his 5th. He is fouled out with 24.6 to go. I'm speechless.
Whoa.
Billy has said before, Louis Courtright does things, and this is one of them.
Whoa! No.
Over Stormo.
No.
Sports Center top 10, Sports Center top 5, Sports Center number 1 play right there, folks.
Oh, call it, Stevie Lennox. Oh, no.
Otieno in for Nowacki, who fouls out with a season-high 21 points and 7 rebounds. McCollum with 23. 1-and-1 situation. Missed the front end of a 1-and-1 a few moments ago. Oh, boy. That was John Starks, and I'm going back. That was John Starks in the playoffs against the Chicago Bulls.
I second that.
McCollum hits a free throw. He's got 24.
Who won the game? The Bulls? I got a feeling that Siena's going to win this one. It's unfortunate.
Well played game.
It really was. And I think Quinnipiac just turned it over a couple too many times. And again, you can't say it's ever over. But the way Quinnipiac's built, it's tough for Quinnipiac to get a 3 and then force a turnover. It's just not how they play.
3-7 total, 5 of the 7 here in the second half, and shooting 58%. Pressure in the backcourt by the Saints. Belanc will inbound.
Push up.
Jones dribbling into the front court, taking time off the clock. Here is Courtright against Kellier.
Just got to get a shot here, fellas. You got to get a shot.
Jones a three-pointer. That one no good. Ball tipped in. And Quinnipiac will call the timeout with 11 seconds to go in a 5-point game. 54 wins overall. 51 of his victories coming into today with a team, the opposing team, shooting under 50%. Usually it's that below 40% mark where you kind of look at that stat line. They hold the team below 50%, and they win not just a majority, it's an overwhelming majority. McCollum will have the inbounds here.
Yeah, he knows what he's doing. A good coach.
Into Playtech, he is fouled by Jones. Playtech will go to the other line for 2 free throws. We've sung the praises of both McCollum and Stormo, and rightfully so. Ike Nowacki fouling out with a team-high 21 points. Otieno, 12 rebounds in a game for Quinnipiac for the 5th time this season.
What has this dude done? Playtech.
Playtech did not score in the first half. He's now got 18 here in the second half. I've looked at it 5 times.
And he got 6 rebounds.
And I've got it correct. All of his points here in the second half of play.
He's turned into Jimmy Chipwich from Hoosiers. And if you look at his socks, I think he's wearing Jimmy's socks.
Well, in the locker room, he must have looked at Coach Carmen Massarello and said, I'll make it.
Give me the ball. Give me a chance. Yeah, that was a good scene.
Closing seconds, foul on Siena. It's going to be on Ely. And Ely has had a strong game as well off the bench. 2-time MAC Rookie of the Week in double figures with 12 points. He's also got 4 rebounds.
He's also got big arms. He must spend some time in the weight room up there at Siena.
Desi Jones at the line, 5.6 seconds to go. 83-76 Siena. Jones the miss, Playtech the rebound. Dribbles out of trouble, dribbles into the front court, and will run the clock out. Siena 83,